For the last year, I've been riding with the FitCamX in my 3rd gen Tacoma, and it's worked out great for me, even though I haven't been in any type of accident or situation that I needed to offload footage. Now, my wife's 2019 Toyota RAV4, on the other hand, was not as lucky. Earlier this year, while she was running some errands, she was in a shop and her car was parked. By the time that she came back out, she realized that her bumper was scratched up, but it really taught me 2 important lessons. Lesson 1 is to make sure all of your vehicles are protected with some type of dash camera. And lesson 2 is to make sure you do the full installation with the fuse box wiring kit to make sure that you're able to activate parking mode. Now, if you're unfamiliar with integrated dash cameras like this, they usually include some type of jumper wire harness that allows you to power them directly off the factory wiring. It makes for a very easy installation, but what that means is that when your vehicle is on, it's recording, and when your vehicle is off, it's not. So obviously, you're not going to pick up things like getting hit while you're parked in a parking lot. So FitCamX did agree to sponsor this video, so there are affiliate links down below. If you choose to make a purchase from that affiliate link, it does help out the channel. So this dash camera comes in 3 different variants. You can get a 4K front-facing camera only, which is what I am installing in the RAV4. You also have the option to get a 2K front-facing camera and a 1080p rear-facing camera. And then you also have the option for the 4K front-facing camera with a 1080p rear-facing camera. Like I said, I'm not installing the rear-facing camera today in the RAV4, but I did install that rear-facing camera on the 3rd gen Tacoma. So if you're curious about what that looks like, you should go check out that video. A lot of the steps are going to be the same. Now I also have the fuse box wiring kit, which is a separate accessory that you have to purchase independently of the camera itself. So let's go ahead and get this unboxed. So the dash camera itself is going to be integrated into this plastic style panel, and that's what's going to give you that nice integrated stealthy look when you go to install it. There is a little sticker on top of the lens there, so you want to make sure you remove that before you install it. There's a nice wire harness here that's going to interface with the wire harness so you can power it, and it does look like there is going to be a secondary piece of plastic that disconnects so you can snap this around that neck of the rear view mirror. It does come with this wire harness pigtail, and that's what's going to give you a nice easy plug and play type of installation, but this is the basic install that does not include provisions for parking mode. Since I'm going to be installing the fuse box wiring kit, I'm not going to need this. Comes with a nice USB adapter, USB-A on one side, USB-C on the other. So if you do need to offload an SD card onto a physical USB drive, that's an option as well. And this is really a nice touch. This is a plastic non-marring pry tool. So if you need to pop up clips on any of your plastic style panels, that's a good touch. Not everybody has these in their toolbox. Flat blade screwdrivers have a tendency to scratch plastics up. Then, of course, the owner's manual. So once you get the actual kit physically installed, you're going to take a look at the owner's manual, pair it with your Wi-Fi and everything, and set up the app like it says in the owner's manual. So the fuse box wiring kit is a separate accessory, like I said, but if you go ahead and open that up, it has a black wire with a little crow's foot type terminal on it. So we're gonna have to find a place where we can ground this with a known good ground. And then you have a red and a yellow wire that have fuse taps on it. So fuse taps will plug into a fuse slot in your existing fuse box. You're not gonna have to be cutting or splicing into your factory wire harness. And then the other end is going to have the mating connector that goes directly into that dash camera. So just like pretty much every dash camera, it's going to fill up this SD card on what's called loop mode. That just means it's going to passively record everything until that SD card is completely full. Once it is full, it's going to start overwriting the oldest footage first. The app will go ahead and chop that into smaller segments, so you're not looking through a giant video file looking for a specific event. And when you go ahead and use the fuse box wiring, you do enable parking mode. And so it's not going to be recording 100% of the time while you're parked, but it does have a G sensor or an accelerometer sensor in here. And so it's going to be kind of in standby mode. And if it detects your car shaking where it gets hit, then it's going to go ahead and trigger the camera, and then it'll record for a certain duration afterwards. So we're going to start with putting the dash camera in up here, which means that you're going to take this plastic panel and slide it down the glass. It'll slide down a little bit like that. There is this center panel, so you are going to have to unclip that to get the whole thing down. So here's a close-up view of these tabs. There's these tabs right here. You're going to push them in towards the middle, and there's a little barb, and once you press them in, they'll separate out from the middle, and that's all it takes to separate the centerpiece. Now this panel does have these 2 orange clips, so we're going to use our fingernail and just kind of gently pry these off because we're going to transfer the orange clips over to the FitCamX. So now I have the underside of the FitCamX, and those snap on very easily. Clip number 2. Go ahead and line up the connector of your fuse box wiring kit. And I'm just going to let it come through the middle right now. But you're going to install this by sliding it upwards on the windshield. And It does take a pretty good alignment of this panel to get it to snap into place. It doesn't take a whole lot of force. So if something feels like it's not quite going, just double check all of the alignment points and it should snap into place pretty easily. So I've got the connector to the camera just stuffed inside that plastic panel. And I'm just using this pry tool to just kind of peel back the headliner, and that cable's going in really nice and easy. Now is a good time to go ahead and put this final cover piece in. And so you're going to slide this in at an angle with these kind of two alignment prongs aimed downwards. And then you're just going to press on the top edge. So you get the cable to the top of this A-pillar, and you can just peel this top edge right out. And that gives you just enough space. You don't need to go all the way down the A-pillar. You really just need to go across it to get to the lower edge where that door seal is. So since I already got it to the side of the A-pillar, I'm literally just taking this wire all the way down. And now I'm just going to trap that wire in place by putting the door seal back as I go. So now I've got the ends of those cables in here, so I'm just gonna help guide the top edge of the wires down. And I'm just going to put the rest of this door seal back in place. So I'm going to go ahead and show you where I plan on grounding my wire. There's no real magic to this. You're going to have to crawl underneath your dash panels. It's going to be awkward cramped quarters. But to the left of the brake pedal and going straight up, there is this bolt right here, and that is what I plan on loosening it up and sliding that kind of open ring terminal, crow's foot terminal, underneath that nut and then tighten it back down. So to get to that ground location, it was a 12mm socket. I had to use a 1/4" flex head ratchet just because that was like the smallest one that could actually fit in there. I'll go ahead and show you how I've got that wire oriented. So I'm going to show you where the fuse box is, and so that way you just have an idea as to where you got to get the other ends of the wire. And you're going to go underneath here. So there is a black cover that you are going to need to undo and take off. There is a little snap that's going to be closer to where the driver's seat is, not closer to the pedals. Quick tip, underneath your hood you have a fuse box as well, and underneath the cover they have extra fuses and they have this little fuse grabber. So this is great because a lot of times needle nose pliers can't really grab up onto the fuse, and especially cramped quarters under the dash, this thing's a lifesaver. So the fuse taps come pre-installed with a 2-amp fuse for the dash camera itself, but now you need to identify a position in the fuse panel to tap power from. For the always-on wire, I used an empty slot in the fuse panel that wasn't being used, and for the accessory signal, I used the 15-amp power outlet fuse location. So I took my fuse grabber, removed that 15-amp fuse, plugged it into the fuse tap, and plugged the fuse tap into the panel. Go ahead and download the app for your smartphone. The best part is that you don't actually need a username and password to be able to use the app. Turn your car on so the cameras are active, and now you go to your phone settings to find the Wi-Fi network that is described in the owner's manual. Once you connect to the Wi-Fi network, open your app and your camera should pair. This takes you to your dashboard where you can see all of your cameras. You also have the options to review your files or your camera settings. If you look at your files, you will see icons for individual segments of recorded video. From here, you can take snapshots from the videos, lock videos so they don't get overwritten, or you can download copies to your device. Once they are downloaded to your phone, they are accessible even when you are not connected to the camera, and you also have the option to share them to other apps such as Dropbox, email, or text messaging. If you go to your settings, you can change things such as the Wi-Fi ID and password to connect to your camera, adjust the video segment durations, turn sound recording on and off, among other things that I'll let you explore in more detail on your own. Now that I've got the camera all set up, I'll go ahead and take a drive and upload a few clips at the end of this video so you can get a feel for the video quality. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content of these videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.